Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about Tesla's massive price cuts that just happened, so that conversation is coming up. This was actually a surprise to me that Tesla cut their prices this much on the 3 and Y. So if you take a look at the screen, they slashed prices from anywhere from 6% all the way to over 20%. I'm going to focus on the Y because it's their best-selling car, and the whole IRA credit thing and the guidance was all sorts of weird, where the 7-seater qualified, but the 5-seater didn't. I'll briefly mention that all Model 3s now qualify for the full $7,500 credit until March when the battery guidance comes out. So if you're in the market for a sedan, you can even get the performance with the full $7,500 credit depending on the color that you choose. But I want to focus on the Model Y because it is their best-selling car and crossovers in general are super popular. And so I almost can't believe that they cut prices on the long-range all-wheel drive by $13,000. Nobody does that. So here's what happened. With all the weirdness around the IRA credit in the 7-seater qualifying but the 5-seater not qualifying and being classified as a sedan, Tesla cutting their prices to under $55,000 was the easiest way for them to get the 5-seater Model Y under the sedan guidance, the MSRP guidance. So I'm sure if you were to look at data, the long-range all-wheel drive is going to be way more popular than the performance, and so these price cuts make the long-range all-wheel drive a lot more affordable and within reach for many, many people. On top of that, with the tax credit added on top of that, that's over $20,000 that you're saving by buying the Model Y now. So these new price cuts put the Model Y in very, very competitive range with the Mach-E, the ID4, Ioniq 5, EV6, all those cars. And also with these price cuts, as mentioned, now Teslas do qualify for the tax credit, whereas some of the other variants or these other crossover EVs do not qualify for the tax credit. So this is basically a double whammy for Tesla, where basically all these people looking at these other cars because they didn't want to pay that much for a Tesla can now look, back at Tesla and get one because it's way more affordable and you get the tax credit as well, at least until March. Another piece of this was the inventory that was building up for the Model Ys. So there was a stat the other day that was put out that basically right now there's about 1,200 Model Ys just sitting in inventory, and that is the record highest number of inventory Model Ys that have been sitting around since Tesla's been around. And that's never happened before. So that shows that demand is slowing, but it's probably because the pricing for the Model Y was so expensive. And I could see the inventory buildup with my own eyes. So basically there's an old parking lot across the street from where I work, and basically Tesla has rented it out and they're using the entire parking lot to have just basically Teslas sitting there waiting to be picked up or bought. And there are a ton of Model Ys and Teslas in general sitting in this parking lot. So in essence, I think the bubble has popped. So if you've been following Tesla for about the last year and a half, you've noticed that the prices back then were at a certain point and they've slowly been increasing ever since. Well, it looks like they've reached their limit on what people are willing to pay for a Tesla just because it's a Tesla. So Elon needed to do something because the stock is not doing very well right now and sales are slowing because the prices are so inflated, so this decision makes sense. So the question we'll find out really soon is demand for Teslas in general slowing down, or was it just a price issue because the cars were so expensive that nobody wants to buy them at that price? But if I were to guess, at this point, I think it was just the price, because when I looked yesterday, for the Model Y, it said January to February, I think, time frame to order a brand new custom car. And when I checked today, it said January to March. So that kind of tells me that people are starting to order them with this new cheaper pricing. So we'll have to see in the next week if the queue balloons back up to where it was about half a year ago. And this is unconfirmed data, but even with the price decrease, Tesla's margin per unit is over 20% still. So it's because they have such good deals with their suppliers and their vertical integration with manufacturing. So to recap, you can now buy any long-range all-wheel drive with black interior and the 19-inch Gemini rims and get the full $7,500 tax credit. In addition, there are a couple other long-range all-wheel drive variants you can buy and still get the full $7,500. The Performance Model Y is over the $55,000 price cap, so you will not be able to get the $7,500 credit for that variant. But with these price cuts, I think it makes it very, very hard to go with another crossover EV with all the pros that Teslas offer. But this is subjective, of course. Are these massive price cuts going to push you over the line to get a Tesla Model Y? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.